Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Carla Serron. I'm Project Assistant of the WISE program. Before introducing this session, I would like to do the acknowledgement of country. Western Sydney University would like to acknowledge the Darug people who are the traditional custodians of the land we are on today. We acknowledge and pay respects to elders, past and present, who have given us time, knowledge, and guidance. We appreciate the rich contribution and resilience that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people provide to Western Sydney University. Now, my colleague Corinne will introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Carla. So hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session about building your LinkedIn profile. I'd like to introduce Amy Watson today from LinkedIn. Amy is the Senior Customer Success Manager, and today she will share with us some great tips about the LinkedIn platform, how to maximize using it, how to build your network, how to grow some skills as well using some of the LinkedIn learning material, and I'm sure much more. So thank you very much for joining us today, Amy. Welcome, and we can't wait to learn all about LinkedIn.
Cool, thank you so much. I might give you a bit of background about maybe how I got to where I am and a little bit about my role. So I'm a Senior Customer Success Manager with LinkedIn Learning. And prior to this, I have worked in learning and development for 10 years. So I've kind of come from a bit of a learning background and moved into LinkedIn. I am one of the few people that's got a job in the middle of the pandemic. So I started with LinkedIn in May. I've never met anyone in my team. I've never been into the office. So I've been purely working from home, which has been really exciting and challenging at the same time. But LinkedIn is an incredible company to work for. And I'm really excited to share, I guess, not only what I've learned, but a lot of tips around how I use LinkedIn. I've gotten my last 3 jobs with LinkedIn as well. So how you can see LinkedIn to get success, but also take you through a little bit more around LinkedIn isn't just a resume. LinkedIn is a whole network of opportunities. So I'm going to take you through that today as well. Cool. So I'm just going to share my screen. I'm actually going to turn my camera off to keep my bandwidth up, and then I'll put it back on later on. But I'm going to send a copy of this presentation through to you after today as well. And I'll also send through a 1-pager and some resources for you to utilize if you want to as well. What I would say is anytime, I really like the session to be interactive. And if you do at any time today throughout the presentation have any questions, I will at the end of the session allocate some time for questions, but throughout the sessions, by all means, I've got the chat open here. So anytime you want to ask something about something specific that I'm talking about, please feel free to chat throughout the session, and then I'll voice the question to everybody as well. Cool. Okay, so today's session is called Rock Your Profile. It's something that we run here at LinkedIn internally to help us upskill ourselves and make sure that our profiles are good. But then we also like to run with all of our users as well. So in today's session, we're going to have a bit of a look at what is LinkedIn, why you should use LinkedIn. We'll have a bit of a deep dive into your profile and how you can tell a story by using your profile. You can then look at what's beyond just your profile. So what other usability does LinkedIn have? We'll go through a bit of a Q&A, and then we'll wrap up the session. What I will probably do as well is I run this session quite a lot with students, and where I do get a lot of value, and I think you'll get a lot of value is also me. I'll go into my, I'll share my own LinkedIn profile, and I'll show you a couple of interesting things that are on there that might not be covered in today's presentation as well. So LinkedIn is all about you, your professional community, and helping you to connect to opportunity. We don't get anywhere alone, and it takes a community of people to help us to be successful. Success is when who you are lines up with what you do. Our vision here at LinkedIn is defined as our true north. It's our dream as a company, and it's what drives us every day at LinkedIn. Ours is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Our vision is followed by our mission. We define mission as our overarching objective. It's something realizable, measurable, and it should be ideally inspirational. This is ours. It's to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. So now that you've had a bit of a look at us at LinkedIn as a company, let's now start to talk a little bit around our network. How does LinkedIn create value for you? The answer to that question can be posed by our value proposition. Our overarching value proposition at LinkedIn is to connect to opportunity. While LinkedIn isn't the be-all and end-all solution, we can be the stepping stone to connect you to opportunity. Let's talk about how you can start to leverage the power of LinkedIn. LinkedIn has some powerful data, tools, and insights that can really help you to connect to opportunity. This starts with our professional community, where we have over 706 million members in over 200 countries and territories. So having a look at the stats here, to break down 706 million members, in APAC alone, we have 190 members, and in Australia, we've just hit over 11 million members. We have over 50 million companies listed with a page on LinkedIn. We have millions of open jobs listed on linkedin.com, over 36,000 skills that are featured on the platform, over 90,000 universities or schools, and more than 280 billion feed updates were viewed alone in 2019, meaning that we have about 280 billion feed updates being viewed on average a year. It's pretty remarkable. Your LinkedIn profile is a digital portfolio that represents you and tells your professional story. Think of it less as a resume and more of a dynamic digital portfolio that's engaging, visual, and highlights your experience and skills to help you build your professional presence. Let's kick off today's session by giving you some of the best practice recommendations to strengthen key parts of your LinkedIn profile. Your photo. Make sure you select a LinkedIn profile photo that truly represents you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to tell the professional community who you are. It can be a professional headshot, but it doesn't have to be. If you do snap your own, just make sure that the photo is in high res, has good lighting, and just features you. In fact, LinkedIn has just added photo filters that you can use to polish your photo. You can choose them by clicking into the pencil that is listed next to your photo. And then you can go through and zoom, you can straighten, and you can then apply filters on top of your photo as well. After adding a photo, the next most important thing to update or add is your industry. Adding your industry is really important. Often it's how others will find you and add you to their professional network. In addition to adding your industry, will give you up to 9 times more profile views. Members with industry information are discovered up to 38 times more in recruiter searches. It's simple, just click on the pencil at the top of your profile where your headshot is. And then if you just scroll down, you can then click on add or edit your industry. You can only add one industry though. Now let's talk about summary. Think of your summary as your 30-second elevator pitch. It should include an introduction to you and also highlight your accomplishments and aspirations. Keep it short and sweet. There's no need to list all of your career accomplishments that you have an experience section that you can list those in. Feel free to highlight your unique talents and how you want to contribute. If you add a summary of 40 words or more, it makes your profile more likely to turn up in a future employee search as well. Following summary is experience. Experience is your opportunity to tell your professional story and start to talk about your accomplishments within each of the roles that you've had. A great way to showcase your experience is to write it in short paragraphs rather than just in bullet point formats. You can use a couple of bullets here and there, but the majority should read like a story, your professional story. If you've worked at a startup company or maybe a smaller company that isn't as well known, you can use this section as well to give a brief introduction to the company before detailing your experience. Lastly, it's really great to talk about what you did in your role, but it's even better to showcase the impact you had. So things like adding your results that you delivered or some change that you created. Let's start to look into rich media. Rich media is a photo, a video, a presentation, or anything else that visually enhances your profile to make it more dynamic. Help connect people into what you're doing by adding rich media to your experience. I see some really great articles or published papers or even assignments that people have completed at university being added into or onto their LinkedIn profile using rich media. Keep in mind though, this content doesn't have to be your own. You can utilize like a company branded video or maybe a branded asset, and then you can add them to your profile if you want to add substance to your experience as well. Last but not least, let's have a look into the volunteer and causes section. Adding volunteer experience is a really great way to round out your professional identity and uniquely tell your story. Make sure you add your volunteer experience and give a quick 1 or 2 sentence description of what you did for that specific organization. Did you know that almost half of all hiring managers say that they view volunteer experience as an equivalent to formal work experience? It's really an important part of your professional identity and your personal brand. Adding skills to showcase what you're great at is a great component of your profile. Adding at least 5 or more skills can get you up to 17 times more profile views. Professionals also search key skills across LinkedIn, so it's another great way to be found by your network. You're in full control of your skills. You choose what order they get displayed in and who endorses you for what. You can also control what skills get featured on your profiles and which ones don't. By adding skills to your profile, this helps align you with jobs that they would recommend if you are in a job search. Skills are a quick way to showcase what you're good at. Now let's shift gears and talk about recommendations. Recommendations are a really great way for you to build your professional credibility. If you don't already have them, request a recommendation from a colleague, a manager, or a partner. Here's a couple of things to keep in mind when requesting a recommendation. Always customize your request. Make sure you let the person know what you want to be recommended for, especially if it's a project or an initiative that you led. When you make the request, especially when asking senior leaders or executives, sometimes you can send it through to them first, and this really helps them to save time and gives them something to work with that they can edit to make their own. Choose people who you've worked with closely and who can provide specific examples of how your strengths, your skills, and your experience show up. And let's not forget about these things. So make sure you update your location. This will really help you discover opportunities and connections in your area like events. Education is important to add. So make sure that you add your degree at University of Western Sydney. You can choose where in your profile it'll also get listed. Do you have any publications that you've authored? You can add this section to your profile to have all of your work featured here too. And if you've received an industry honour or won an award, these types of things are really great to feature in the accomplishment section of your profile. So now that we've had a bit of a look into your profile, let's have a look at how we can leverage your profile and take it to the next level. Let's talk about how you can leverage LinkedIn to build a strategic network. Firstly, does anyone have any questions now about their profile alone? Great, that's cool. I'll show you a couple other features once we go into having a look on the live profile as well. So LinkedIn is a place where you can share your insights, your expertise, and opinions with your professional community. There are two great ways for you to share your professional perspective on LinkedIn. The first way to share your perspective is a quick and high touch through status updates, similar to that like one on Facebook. The second is your opportunity to explore a topic in more detail through publishing, like publishing an article. So let's call out the two differences. Sharing updates is a way for you to quickly share your knowledge, your perspective, and your insight about what you really care about, or maybe what's happening. Publishing content is a way for you to explore a topic by writing a long form post. Let's have a look at how we can get started with those. Get started by sharing a status update on your homepage. You'll see the share box that's at the top of when you sign into LinkedIn. There's a couple of things that can help your status update stand out from the crowd. Let's have a look at what some of those things are. LinkedIn is a platform where you can have your voice heard by your professional community. So be authentic, stay on brand, and show up consistently. Share frequently. You create more opportunities for you and your content to be discovered. I personally add a reminder to my calendar to post something once every couple of weeks or once a month to really make sure that my brand is getting pushed out to my network. Post something quick and snappy that engages your professional community. Maybe you could pose a question, provide your perspective on current events, or reshare an article, or even give an insider point of view. The more people that engage with the content you post, the more it gets shared and noticed in other people's feeds. Include photos and videos to help your post stand out. Posts that include rich media get more comments and also get more likes. And when posting a status update, think of the things that you can share that will benefit your professional community. This also goes the other way. Use status updated to pose a question or get insights and thoughts from professionals that you really care about. Now that we've talked about some best practices around sharing updates, let's talk a little bit about publishing on LinkedIn and how you can leverage LinkedIn to share your voice, your unique perspective, and also your point of view. Publishing content is a really great way for you to explore topics that matter to you and to share your expertise and insights with your professional community. Remember, when you publish content on LinkedIn, it first of all becomes part of your profile, it gets shared with your network, and it also reaches the largest group of professionals, over 540 million to be exact. Once you've published content, people can follow you to stay on top of what you say and what you also post on LinkedIn. Publishing content on LinkedIn is a great way to establish thought leadership within a community of professionals who matter to you, such as the STEM community. It's a really good opportunity for you to get your voice out and share what your interests are, or start following people that have those interests in the STEM field as well. So let's have a bit of a look at publishing and how publishing works. Similar to sharing status updates, you can get started on your homepage. You go to the top and select write an article, and then you can get started. Let's have a look at some quick tips on how you can publish great articles. Create a headline that stands out. Ask yourself if you would click on it if you were having a really busy day. Always make sure that you add a cover photo as well as photos throughout the article to break up the content. Articles with cover photos get more views and comments with those that without. Yeah. Make sure you show up as your authentic self. You have a lot of experience and expertise, and people want to hear your views, your insights, and also your perspective. Remember to think about your audience and what they would benefit from. Tailor your content to give back to your professional community. You can write a long form post, but make sure it isn't too long. The sweet spot for an article is about 600 to 1,000 words. I can see that there's a question there. If a piece of media is not online, what ability is there to add PDFs, etc.? is there even any value, and do people even click on PDFs? Yeah, great question. So you do have the potential. Maybe once we go and have a bit of a look out on the live site, I can show you where you can upload. So I think when it comes to a PDF, it would really depend on the content that you're trying to share. I think if you're uploading a PDF, you can definitely attach it to your profile. So maybe if it's like a piece of a project work, especially if you're looking at getting a job or you're applying for jobs, if that PDF that you attach to your profile has a project that you've worked on or something like that, then I would definitely recommend uploading it. I think the other component that comes with it to go, what content is in this PDF? And could you then utilize the data, or could you utilize what's on that PDF in a publishing piece rather than just sharing a blank PDF? But yeah, you can definitely do that. And you can definitely upload things onto the site as well. So I'll show you how to do that once we jump into the live site. Hope that answers your question.
Yep.
Cool. Let's have a look. Once you do, one of the really great benefits of publishing an article on LinkedIn is you then get the ability to view the stats within your published article, and then you get to pull up analytics that will really help you to understand who's connecting with the material that you have shared. So you can track your progress regularly to see how your content's resonating with others. So you see here that you can see where people work that have viewed your content, what their job title is, where their location is, how they found you. And then you can also get a really good perspective of how many people have actually viewed your post and what does that network start to look like, and how many reshares have people then had of that post as well. So publishing an article is how you get these stats. So by following companies, it helps you to stay connected to the companies that really matter most to you by following them. You can get a lot of information, you can get a lot of updates, you can get a lot of data from companies that are of interest to you. What you can do is at the top of the top page, search the company's name and it in the C box at the top, and then you can go through and actually click on follow. Following a company helps you to stay on top of the news and trends. I really like to do that for companies that I aspire to work for in the future, companies that help me understand, or maybe that are our competition as well. That really helps you to allow you to see and get a really good update of what's happening in the industry that you're studying as well. In addition to following companies, you can also gain insights by following LinkedIn influencers. So for example, you can see Bill Gates is here. By following industry influencers, you get to stay on top of key trends, topics, and they also share some really interesting insights from those people that I know that I respect and admire. When you follow an influencer, you can also then see their activity across LinkedIn and what they're following, what they're interested in, what they're commenting on in other people. In addition to gaining industry insights and staying informed on what matters to you, you can then use LinkedIn to really connect with what you care about. LinkedIn has an advanced search filter to help you to find what matters most quickly. So you can have a look at things like searching for jobs, you're searching for company, or are you searching for people? Now that we've covered how to follow companies and influencers, plus having a search at scale, let's talk about how to customize your LinkedIn experience through your feed. You've got the ability to hide a post, unfollow somebody, copy it, report a post, but then you can also click on the Improve My Feed button to then go through and add some preferences that you want to add into your feed as well. So that's the bulk of the presentation. What I'm going to do is stop sharing my screen And I'm now going to share and jump into, I'll take you through a couple of other cool features. What you'll find is that through COVID or through the pandemic, we've really ramped a lot of our updates on LinkedIn.com. So I might take you through a few of those. Let me just find, I'm notorious for sharing lots and lots of screens on here. Cool. So you should be able to see my LinkedIn feed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. I might just bring the chat box back up here. Great. Okay, so anyone that has any questions, pop them in here and I can take you through because I think you'll get some better value out of having a look at this as well. One of the newer features is we have a news team or we have an articles of publishing team. So you'll have to see up in the corner here, LinkedIn News. I tend to go there now each morning when I wake up. I go through my feed and have a look at LinkedIn and the news there. To go to your profile, you click at the top here for those that haven't used LinkedIn before. And then you can go to view your profile. So I'll show you a little bit about mine. Something that I'd really highly recommend is you have the ability to change this photo at the back. I would recommend putting something that means something to you. So this is a picture of Bronte Beach that I added in there. And I really like the beach. I really like that this has LinkedIn colors added into it too, which kind of relates to my role. But adding that there makes your profile a little bit more unique and it helps it to stand out and demonstrate that attention to detail that you have. To add your photo, you can either click on your photo here and then you can also go through and by adding a profile section, this is the area where you can update everything as well. And in this section, it's the same thing. So something that is a really new feature is, first of all, you can share your profile by message. You can save your profile to a PDF, or we've just got this really cool new feature, which is you can use your LinkedIn profile to actually build a resume. So if anyone is out there and they're looking either when they graduate or during your grad years at applying for jobs, this is a really cool feature that you can then go through and actually build a resume out with as well. So that's mine there. What else is there? On here, I was going to show you. This is a feature with, whereabouts is it? There's a couple of things. So if you're looking for a new job, there is these three little tabs that you can get. So looking for a new job will add a green ring around your name, which says open for work, which means that you're telling people that you're interested in looking for a role. And we've seen really great success with people adding that to their profile. Let me just, why isn't this clicking? Click on the pencil button. A new one that we've just added in, which you can only do on the mobile app, but you can actually record your name and how you pronounce your name and then attach it to your profile. So what you would have seen or what you'll see is a little voice box next to people's profiles, and that's for how you can pronounce people's name. So that's all in there as well. Always good if you're going to, I would always recommend if you're going to an interview or if you're meeting people as well, industry professionals, or if you're networking, it's a really good tool for you to have to make sure that you're pronouncing their names correctly as well. This is the summary section or your about section. So this is your 30-second elevator pitch. I would also say anyone that wants to add me on LinkedIn, I'm more than happy for you. My tag is Amy Rose Watson, linkedin.com/in. I'll post it in the chat for everybody. If you want to add me and you're new to creating a LinkedIn profile, I'm more than happy for you to add me and I can go through and do a one-over on your profile if you want as well. Or if you've got any questions that you didn't want to ask today or that come to mind, please feel free to chat me as well. You then have a series of activities that sit here as well. So things that I've either liked or my goal is to post an article because I haven't done so yet. But you can then go through and you can see any posts that I've presented and then also where the documents are. So I'll show you how to upload a document. I think it is, sorry, it's here. Let me just figure out whereabouts it is. I think it's just here. Can't remember where it is. I might have to come back to you and tell you whereabouts that is. It might be actually in the featured. Oh, here, yeah. Media or documents, here we go. So if you want to feature something on your profile, you could then go through and, I don't know, let's say that it is something. I could publish this and it would then feature on my LinkedIn profile as a PDF. So it'll come with the rich, like a view of it there. And then it would sit at the top of your profile. So really good if you're, like I said, if you've worked on a project at university that you're really proud of, or maybe that that you've got an award for or something like that as well. That might be good to post there. You can change the title, you can change the description, and then it'll sit. I'll just save this one to mine and I'll delete it. It'll sit at the top of your profile in a featured position. So it's quite high up the top there. I might just delete this one, I remember. Cool. And then it'll also get shared out to your network to say that you've done that. And then you've got mine. I have to call out to say I haven't added all of the descriptors for all of my roles, but that's something that I have on my list of things to do. It takes a long time to do that. So I would definitely recommend going through and adding those things in there. Going through and having a look at your skills and endorsements, and then your interests as well is something that I would definitely recommend. Oh, cool. You use the word passionate in your profile. Do emotion words like this work to advantage? In my area, maybe they don't, but there is research about what keywords work or don't work for researchers in different disciplines. Yeah, cool. So as you've probably seen from my background, I come from a background of HR. And the biggest advice that I would give to you is do something that's true to you, and also true to your industry. So as you can see, I worked at Standards Australia for a period of 9 months. I don't think I had the word passionate in there, but I had more stuff around skill development and working alongside them. When you're creating your elevator pitch, I would definitely recommend that you speak around the audience that you want to either network with, or where you think in your degree that you think you'll get the best traction for what you want to achieve. I think having a purpose for LinkedIn is something that's important. Like, there's one thing by having a LinkedIn profile, but think about what you want to get out of LinkedIn as well. Is it that you want to get a job? Is it that you want to connect with professionals? Is it that you want to publish articles? And then I would really recommend tailoring your profile in order to really reflect what message and what you want to achieve for that purpose. So yeah, great question. But in my industry, with that's probably a big call out in HR, that's an important part too, and especially in learning and development, is around demonstrating passion. The other thing that's here, that if you're not even a graduating student, but really when you're a graduating student, is you've got the potential and opportunity to get a premium account. So at LinkedIn, anyone that has a premium account gets this little gold logo on there. You do have to pay for it, but you get a free 30-day trial, And where we see really great success, so we see a lot of grads start to apply for jobs in October before they graduate, so that graduating year. What I would recommend is when you are graduating to get a LinkedIn premium account, because you get a whole heap of added benefits with having a premium account. So I'll show you through. You get a lot of insights into who's viewed your profile over the last 3 months. So especially if you've applied for jobs or if you're connecting or networking with people, you get to see who's viewed your profile, which is really insightful. It gives you recommendations for jobs. And I constantly, although I've got an incredible job at LinkedIn, it's always about seeing what's in the marketplace as well around jobs and applicant where you're a top applicant. So this is where it starts to pull the skills that you have listed on your LinkedIn profile, and the AI then provides you recommendations based on what you've got in your profile and what the job description has, and they marry the two of them up. What you'll then start to see is by having a premium account, you'll see how many people have actually applied for that job as well. So looking at the differences between these two, you can see that 256 people have applied for a job at Google and 20 people have applied for this one here. It will then use your data to then benchmark you against them, which is, I personally find it's really helpful. I'll show you what else you can get on premium. You can have a look at more around, there's some tools that you can utilize to help you. It gives you access to LinkedIn Learning, which all of you already have at the University of Western Sydney anyway. You can then go through and do things like have a look at job insights in more detail, have a look at people browsing, so going through and actually looking at people's profiles, resume builder, and then LinkedIn Learning, like I said before as well. That's premium. Is there anything else anyone wants me to groups. Sorry, I forgot about groups. Groups and events are a really, really great feature of LinkedIn. So you can see here, I'm in quite a few groups. You can either create a group. So especially if you wanted to connect maybe with individuals in each of your different degrees. So it might be that you can actually search for groups. So I know that we had some people doing like medical science. There's some people that did accounting, microbiology, Bachelor of Engineering. Valerie, your degree, there'll be heaps of people that connect around robotics and Metatronics, and I think people are so interested in that as well that there'll be a lot of groups that share stuff. Data science, definitely, there's going to be a lot in there as well. And law, you'll see a lot of the big law firms also go through and have a look at what they put up. But what you'll find is on LinkedIn, there is a whole heap of these groups that you can request to be a part of. And the really great thing about groups is that people go through and publish, or you can post things in a LinkedIn group, and it really helps you to stay with what's happening in that network. So maybe I'll jump into one. Here we go. So this is a group that I've joined, and people just go through of all different levels. It could be an individual contributor, it could be a director, it could be a manager of the group as well. And they then go through and they give you a whole heap of tools and resources around them. So maybe let's have a look at robotics, for example. Oh, that's not in this group. Give me a second. So here we go, robotics guru. There's a couple of, so you can actually filter them, but you then request to join it. So you'll see that this one here has 26,000 members. You can get a good idea for, it pulls data from your profile around who's in there. So because I used to work in the insurance industry, I think that's why it's pulled that data there. It's saying that there's 114 people in Greater Sydney. but then it gives you a little bit of an intro into what is in this in this group as well, and whether you can contribute or whether you can't. So I'd really, really, really recommend going through and following groups. The good thing about groups is you will start to see, so for example, there's 26,000 members here. You will then be able to see people that post and then add them into add them on LinkedIn, and you can have conversations with them. So especially if you share a common group with someone, it's a good avenue for you to be able to connect with them as well. So my recommendation, if you're looking at networking, and maybe some tips that I can share with you that I've done, prior to me working at LinkedIn, I obviously worked in learning and development for 10 years. I knew that I wanted to get to LinkedIn. I really knew that I wanted to work for LinkedIn as a company. So I connected with a whole heap of people. I followed LinkedIn as a company page, and then I connected with people in different areas of the business, and organized to have coffees with them when we were allowed to have coffees back a while ago, and built relationships with them so that I could understand what it was like to work at LinkedIn, but also to put my best foot forward and see what I needed to learn and what I needed to develop in order to get a job there. I think it's the same thing with networking, is don't be afraid to reach out to people on LinkedIn. People are really flattered if you send them a message to say, like, hi, I'm really interested in, I'm currently studying, I don't know, robotics engineering or something like that. I'd be really keen to meet you for a coffee or have a virtual coffee, or if we can lock in 30 minutes, I'd be really keen to hear what your thoughts are on X. And it doesn't even have to be, it could just be that you chat them on there, or you send them an email or something like that. So don't be disheartened if people don't write back to you, because there is an element of people connecting with people with no purpose. I think that when you do send a connection to somebody, so when you send a connection to someone, it will go through, maybe I'll add you, Perrin, if I haven't already. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I'll just add you. If you hit connect, it brings up a personalization option. So what I would always recommend, if you're adding somebody that you don't know, that you want to network with, it's not also about where you know each other from. It could also be, what do you want to get out of the relationship with that person that you're connecting with as well? So give them a purpose or a reason. So obviously, and then it sends it off to them and they'll be able to see it. Cool. Does anyone else have any questions about LinkedIn? Oh, events, that was the other one. I keep looking down. You've got the ability to search for events, and when you go to an event, you can actually go through and connect with all the people that went to the same event as you as well, which is really cool. So searching through, I'm just going to type in one that might come up, because you can then go through and filter. So at the top, I spoke about filters before. You could go through and I can then see where this is MBTI, which is a learning and development tool, but you can see all of the events. So if we typed in, what do we have, medical science, we might be able to see if there's any events, and especially because they're all virtual at the moment as well. We can then go through and add filters on the side here. Oh no, there's none available. We can go through and see what's on at the moment, that you might be able to attend, or that, especially like I said, because they're virtual, that might be of interest to you, that you might be able to attend as well. So that's a really good opportunity for you to have a look at when it comes to events. So go to the top of the page, search at the top in the little radio box at the top, and then go through and filter by events. The same with people. So if you typed in medical science, what it's then going to do is bring up a whole heap of people that are connected to you in some way that you might want to follow or might be of interest to you. The last thing I'm going to show you is just a little bit around LinkedIn Learning. So we've gone through all of the stuff on LinkedIn. Following today, I don't know if everyone knows, but you have a subscription, and all of you at Western Sydney Uni have a inclusive subscription to LinkedIn Learning as well. So I'll send you through a couple of courses, especially around things like personal branding. I think I had a look before, and there is actually some stuff around STEM in here as well. And I know that Perrin and the team have, I think, put some stuff together. There we go. So you can do some stuff on things like project-based learning. You can have a look at women in STEM. There is a whole heap of stuff that's in there. The other thing is, like, I know that we had a couple of people that were, there's heaps and heaps of stuff. I know I'm using robotics as an example, but it is heaps of stuff on robotics. So if you want to learn more to supplement your degree, there's heaps of stuff that's in here too. We have 3 different libraries. So there's a business, a creative, and a technology-based library. And as you can see, they're then put into like different categories. So things like career development are in there. If you want to have a look at specific areas, they're all broken out into things like this. And we see a lot of traction with students using this to supplement their degrees. So looking at things like building your skills to help you get one of those careers in the future by really upskilling yourself to the best ability, learning the best software and the most up-to-date software. But then also you might turn around and want to do something on the side of your degree, or if you've got an interest in learning how to do design or video making or something like that, you can definitely go through and do that as well. So have a bit of a look around, maybe have a think about what aligns with your degree as well. But there's some incredible stuff around personal branding, job searching, and career management that sits over here, which we see a lot of our students across Australia and New Zealand using to really help them set themselves up for success and really land that job once they graduate from uni as well. So I'll share some content with you on here that might be of interest. But if you are looking for anything, we have 16,000 videos on here. So if there's anything that you're specifically looking for, please reach out, because I have a lot of insight into stuff on LinkedIn Learning that can help you as well.